Well, post-election battles now underway in Washington. One hot-button issue, immigration. President Obama saying that he will take unilateral action if an agreement cannot be reached with Congress. That is a big if. House Speaker John Boehner warning such a move would kill efforts to overhaul immigration policy. Can they find common ground on this issue once and for all? Angela McGlowan is a Fox News political analyst. Jessica Ehrlich is a former Democratic congressional candidate and Democratic strategist. And ladies, thank you very much. All right. First of all, Angela, where is the compromise here, and why should there be a compromise? I would have just assumed that securing our borders would be a bipartisan wish, no?
Well, it should be a bipartisan wish, but the president wants amnesty. But, Julie, the American people have spoken, and our founding fathers made it where we would have a balance of power. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, so leaders from the left and the right need to work together. The president said that he heard the American people who voted and the ones who didn't vote. And also, Julie, you had Hispanics that actually jumped to the other side and voted for Republican candidates because the White House played politics with this issue. So the bottom line is Washington, D.C. is about compromise, and they should compromise.
Jessica, the president has threatened to use executive action in the past, and he'll use it again if he has to. But back in August, he basically tabled the decision until the midterms. That's a decision that obviously backfired on Democrats. What's the president going to do, first of all, about preventing more illegal children from flowing into this country unaccompanied by their parents? And will he finally decide what to do with the 50,000 children abandoned in Texas that has now become our tax burden?
Yep.
Well, it seems that that is sort of what he's been talking about in terms of doing an executive action. But he's asked for now both of the Senate and the House to come together and, as we just talked about, compromise, put together a comprehensive bill and address these issues, because they have to be addressed, obviously. And what he's focused on is actually those children that are here, the folks that have been here already, the dreamers, and those sort of young people. And that's what he's looking to address, and hopefully getting the House to make some sort of movement here, because the Senate already passed a bipartisan bill that we saw, but the House has not done anything to come together.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Actually,
where have they come together, Angela?
The House actually held hearings, Julie. In the Senate, they did actually pass a bipartisan bill, but the House wanted to take it step by step.
Hearings have nothing to do with the passing of legislation.
Excuse me, may I
finish,
please,
They've been working on this since 1986.
As a former legislative aide, since you ran for Congress, and I did as well, let me educate you on something. In the House,
I actually worked for several years in the House of Representatives and Council, and I know how
Angela, finish your thought. I want you to both talk.
I don't need you to educate me.
Jessica,
Senate to the House.
Angela, hold on one second, okay? Jessica, first of all, a majority of Americans have said they do not want amnesty, but there are several hardworking Hispanics here who came into this country legally.
Right. Exactly.
My mother is a perfect example, who has a big problem with a lot of the illegals that are coming in here and wishing to have the same benefits as those who waited in line and did it the right way. However, there are, as you mentioned, the DREAM Act, where there are people who either were born in this country to illegal parents, or those who have been working here that want to work and want to pay taxes. So there must be a compromise somewhere on the subject of amnesty. I'm not saying, raise a red flag and say anyone who comes into this country, we're going to grant you amnesty. However, could there be a compromise there? Jessica, you go first, and then Angela. And try not to talk on each other.
Yeah, I think there absolutely has to be. I mean, because I agree with you. I think that on both sides, that's what needs to happen. Hopefully now we can get this to move. My concern is that this has been an ongoing issue that we've seen since 1986. Senator McCain's been working on this almost the entire time he's been in Washington. And if we don't get something done, which I think is what the president is trying to do, is push the House and Senate to actually do something before January, because we're looking at least another 2 years, and this argument will just continue and continue. The American people will continue to be frustrated,
Julie,
and we won't see anything done.
Angela, can you see as a Republican any way that Democrats and Republicans can come to an agreement on what to do with those that are already here? Kicking them out, while maybe something that many Republicans would like to see, is not going to happen. So there needs to be a way to compromise in order for the ones that are here to pay taxes, but not invite more in, and secure our borders to put an end to this crisis once and for all.
And that's what you have when you have conservative House members. They want to secure the borders first. But you had Senator Rubio and Senator Floyd Flake, who was a former Tea Party member of the House, that can actually lobby the House, Julie, and have things happen. But I want to get back to what you said about your mom coming here and the fact dealing with immigration, I did this book Bamboozle, where I have a chapter called Latinos in Limbo, where I interviewed Latinos from the Hispanic Federation, the Immigration Foundation, the Hispanic Caucus, the Hispanic Conference, and you have some Latinos, some Hispanics that don't want people to jump in front of the line. They want people to come here like they did and actually do it legally.
I've got tons of relatives in Colombia who I tried to get visas for to come attend my wedding. Not one was accepted into this country. So I had to have 2 weddings, one over there and one in the United States, all because I couldn't legally get my family members into this country. So believe me, it irks me.
My father is a first-generation American, so I know.
When people illegally cross our borders, when I have family that can't ever see the United States of America where I live, very frustrating. But you know what? The bottom line is we have illegal immigrants in this country, many of whom are working, many of whom are issued ID cards so that they can pay taxes. Would that be considered granting them amnesty, would you believe, if you were to go ahead and allow them to stay, allow them to pay taxes, deal with the ones that are here, secure our borders, and move on, finally, off this topic?
You can give temporary work visas. We don't have to just give out citizenships. And let's look at the undocumented worker. They're living in the shadows. They're the #1 victims of crime. People hire them and don't even pay them. So we need to do something about it. But I don't think handing them a citizenship is fair. You can't augment the law, Julie, while changing the law. So give them a temporary work visa and have the businesses actually sponsor them that have hired them illegally.
All right, Angela McGlowan, Jessica Ehrlich. Jessica, I'm going to give you the last word, and then we have to really seriously wrap it up.
I think in order for that to happen, there needs to be reform, because right now they don't simply have the resources and ability to be able to do that with the current system that we have, as you know, trying to get visas. It's a mess.
It really is. Jessica Ehrlich, Angela McGlowan, a fair and balanced debate. We appreciate you both. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.